Welcome to the SJ Child Show. This episode is sponsored by Water and Body Basics. Visit 3440 South, 5600 West, West Valley City, Utah. Mention SJ Childs today.
On this episode of the SJ Child Show, I peel back the layers with Eric Bigger, former Bachelorette contestant and author of Change Your Mindset, Change Your Energy, Change Your Life, 100 Days of Wisdom, and Quotes to Shape Your Life. Enjoy the show.
Hi, and welcome to the SJ Childs Show. I'm your host, SJ Childs, and today I have a fabulous guest for listeners and viewers, Eric Bigger, who some of you might know as a Bachelorette contestant, but whom I've learned is so much more than that, is so incredibly brilliant, has such an open mind, and just such a great message to share with us today. So welcome, Eric. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here on this Monday, and we're here.
Yeah, right? We made it. It's Monday. We made it. That's half the battle.
Yes.
We woke up. That was the first battle, right? Getting out of bed on a Monday morning. Oh, well, let's get started by give us an introduction about yourself, and who Eric is and where you started.
Yeah, so to some of you, you might know me from The Bachelorette, season 13 with Rachel Lindsay. That really jump-started my career or gave me more eyes or attention on person. However, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised. Do anybody know about Baltimore? You know about The Wire, the TV show, the hit TV show, which is a great show based in Baltimore about Baltimore City and the good, the bad, and the indifferent in that area. I went to junior college in Columbia, Maryland at Howard Community College where I played basketball. From there, I transferred to Hampton University, and I graduated from there in 2010, Magna cum laude, and with entrepreneurship degree. And I booked a one-way ticket. I graduated May 2010. I booked a one-way ticket to LA June 2010, and that's when my life changed and took off. I came to LA with a degree. Thought I knew it all. Didn't know anything about life. And I went through a lot of ups, downs, struggles, setbacks, hardships, challenges that forced me to go inward, to look for a better way to survive at the time, but also find a way to potentially thrive in life. And it was based on information. Information changes situation, and from books like Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, The Secret, philosophers and people like Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, and just healing and learning.
All the greats, yeah.
Experiencing life, and things happen, and my intentions, got better for myself and my life, and things turned around eventually. And it took me 7 years to get a break, in LA. I didn't come to LA for Hollywood or TV or fame. I really came to LA to get a MBA, a master's degree in business. That didn't work out. They wanted $40,000 a year. I didn't have $40,000 in debt at the time. So I took a different route. I worked many jobs, from a sneaker store clerk to promo modeling to background acting to even doing Uber. I've done it all. Personal trainer by trade. I sold water machines. Shouts out to Kagan. So I've been through almost every phase of the journey of an individual trying to discover and unpack who they are and what they are so they can show up in this world with purpose, right? Because sometimes we just go through life because we have to. Yeah. And we don't know who we are. We don't discover what we want and what we need to feel fulfilled and have meaning in life. And so I'm just happy to say, through those ups, downs, those trials and tribulations, I'm here now talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
Information that I've discovered on my journey, and it feels good.
I love that. I absolutely love that. What a great journey too. And shows the courage and the strength you have to just head out on your own. I did very similar thing, just went out on my own afterwards and just discovered living in different places and different people and different careers. I think I've like had so many different jobs and careers as well. So you and I are just so much alike, Eric. It's just hilarious. Something else that we are alike. Now, on one of your other podcasts, I was listening, and you had mentioned where you lived, that you love basketball, number one. Like, I don't love basketball. I don't not love it. But what I did do, I was a massage therapist for about a decade, and I worked for the Utah Jazz. And I was their massage therapist for their chiropractor. And so I was listening to one of them, and it said that you had a roommate that you lived with that was on the Utah Jazz, right? Deron Williams, and or rented or do something about.
So
Yeah.
actually, that story was that was my actual first job in LA.
Okay.
Stand-in on the TV show, the Zach and Cody Sweet Life.
Okay. Yes.
I was a stand-in for Deron
That's
Williams.
what it was. Okay, right.
So I was standing in for him before he got the set because we kind of had the similarities at the time.
Yeah.
So when he got there, he knew what to do. And so you got paid like $100 a day. That was my first job in LA.
That's so awesome.
It was set. I'm like, well, here we are. So it was fun. I met him, fell in love with Dwight Howard, but that's how that Deron went.
I just thought that was so funny that how would we like have like known the same person and everything, you know, in the middle of everything, right, going on. No, that was a really fun time in my life too, because I wasn't a basketball fan. So when they came in, I wasn't just like, oh, stardom, you know, I'm a little fangirl right now. We won't deny that. But yeah, with the basketball, I just like, I was so happy. To tell you the truth, I really wanted to be a 49ers massage therapist. I really wanted to do that, but I will, you know, I'll take the NBA. I'll take basketball. Like, I don't know if I could have handled a football player now. I'm only 5'2".
So you see, like for people listening, if you listen to what she said, and I really want listeners to understand not only the law of attraction, but the law of assumption, right? So that's by Neville Goddard. But the law of assumption states that the more you assume something, the more it can become true. And that can be good or bad. So
true.
You had the intentions of being a massage therapist for the 49ers. Okay, cool. That didn't come. However, you were the massage therapist for the Utah Jazz, so you still was in a professional environment with professional athletes that was on that frequency.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Niners, but it was the Jazz, which is a professional sports team.
I love that.
See how that assumption or that intention and that vibration kind of matches, even if it wasn't exactly what you wanted, but it was what you wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you attracted it, and that's
I love it.
you know, it's like, look at that. That's a great story to share.
I know, and I'm sorry that I shared it on your podcast to share things,
No,
but yeah, it's exciting.
And the power of their mind, you know.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I love that. That's how you know, I live my life that way. You live your life that way, and so I think that's how it was. So when I, you know, was listening on the Michael Stein show, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I really get this guy. Not only do I, you know, yes, I am a huge Bachelor fan, but at the same time, like, when I really got to know you, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to him. I've got to get in touch with this guy and talk to him, because there's just so many alikeness in our lives. Let's go back to something that you had said on another thing about kind of your guidance through life, and how you had good, you know, parents that were in your life, took care of you, paid, you know, food and clothes and everything, but you really kind of still didn't feel like you got like the push that was necessary, or like interest, like they weren't really interested in you as much as they were interested in their own things going on.
Yeah, I think, you know, now that I'm older, you know, there's a human need. I think Michael Stein talks about it. One of the human needs, I think for me especially, is connection, right? I want to connect to feel alive, to feel love, to feel meaning. And as a kid, I did well in school. So usually in my environment, kids who get attention, they don't do well in school.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was more, like I said, my mom took care of me and my sister. You know, she paid the bills, she took us to school. she even cooked food and dinner, but just the intimacy, sitting us down. How was your day, son? I love you. I'm proud of you. Same with my dad. My dad was a provider, but he wasn't a guider. So I didn't have no one, intentionally telling me how to live life. They would tell me, you got to call this person Miss and Mister and say your manners and say your grace and pray, all the, normal things. But I didn't get that. Like you said, I didn't feel that my parents had the time, not that they didn't want to time, or knew how to have interest in me outside of school and sports. So it took me on a journey to become that for everybody else.
Yeah.
They say people who are so intrigued about numerology, astrology, or always asking questions about another person is because they wish someone did that to them growing up.
Yeah.
Had the curiosity about film. And so I wanted someone to listen to me. I wanted someone to understand me. I wanted someone to love me, give me attention, give me acknowledgement, just to let me know that I matter to them and they care about me. So I became that for everybody, my friends, my family, whoever. I was like a father,
Yeah.
body, and it forced me to take on so much, which was good, but also bad because no one ever thought that I was down or I was feeling bad because I carried the weight of everyone. Like, oh, he's fine. In all actuality, I was really hurt, probably more than anybody.
Right. No, isn't that the truth? I was just going to say you did that for everyone, but did you include yourself?
No, I didn't.
No, and that's the hardest part of being an empath and being wanting to do good for others around you. In my case, it was kind of like, this is who you need to be for everyone else. You need to serve them. This is your job. And so I was like, okay, and that's what I grew up doing and grew up being. And then there was a point where I was like, well, wait a second. What about when I'm in line somewhere? Like, why do I have to rush through for the stranger behind me because I'm so panicked that I'm not good enough or I don't deserve to be here? It's just ridiculous. And, luckily I have support in, my close family that, like, my husband's always like, being a Leo, as is always just like, I'll roar in their faces. Like, you have every right to be anywhere. Like, he gives me the oomph that I need and the kind of that backbone to say, yeah, you're right. I do. That was like something really hard for me to unpack was that why don't I deserve, like, why can't I be somewhere and not feel the pressure from someone else because they deserve to be there more than me? It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's that's when awareness comes in, the self-awareness of, being aware of your thinking, like, where did that thought come from and why am I thinking that? And why do I feel like I have to rush when someone wants something from me and it's 8 a.m. and I feel like I got to get this right away?
Yeah.
And so just as of recently, I'm 33 years old, and probably of last week and the week before, I went through a really different phase of creating boundaries, being stressed out because of family. But when I really looked at that wound or that issue, I created it based on how I looked at it, how I perceived it. Yeah. And when I thought about my family is fine. They're okay. Now, they might not be the way I think they should be, but that's kind of my ego and how I believe. But if I really sit back and think, you guys are okay.
Yeah.
I'm over here freaking out because I'm thinking things are out of whack.
Should be a different way.
Right. But also it's a part of codependency that helped me live and survive life for so long as a kid and growing up and being a man before you was a boy, having to be responsible emotionally and mentally for others, or not having the real capabilities. I realized that my codependency comes from I depend on people to depend on me so I can be myself. Yeah. So it's like, oh, someone needs me. That makes me feel like, oh, I can be.
Yeah.
Then I had to look, oh, so you still have a little bit of that still in there, Eric. You're still focusing on everybody else, so you don't have to depend on yourself. Ooh, look at that. So I had to realize I'm creating this scenario. I'm creating this narrative. And it's not really complex, but it is because of the trauma I faced growing up, thinking that was my place, that was my position, the people pleaser syndrome, not feeling worthy of love and affection, not knowing how to receive when someone wants to give to me.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Of learning to be aware of, hold on, take your power back. They'll be okay. They're fine. Your mom and dad been here longer than you, sir. So this out. Your sisters and your grandmother, they'll be okay. But are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I started taking it personal, like, yeah, you guys don't even check on me. I'm out here by myself. And it's like, hold on. But you decide to check on them because that's something you choose to do.
Yeah.
So it's just, it also, I get to the root of, I'm a giver. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a giver. And it's a lot of stuff to unpack, but it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it definitely pushed you into your career now, or into your passions and what you're doing now. Let's talk about that. Where did that start? Where did you decide, okay, it's about me. I'm taking this into my hands. What can I do for myself?
Yeah, so the universe is very interesting and funny and clever and smart. Because on my journey before the Bachelorette, I was doing so much healing, right? So much work, reading books, going to seminars, going to a healer to clean out my chakras, and meditating, praying, all these things, right? So I feel like I had a lot of information about life and success, but I didn't have the experiences to match where I was at. So I feel like when the show came, it caught up to me, right? The experience caught up to my information. I already had the information.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe Dispenza says knowledge is the precursor to experience, right? So I had a lot of knowledge, but I didn't have the wisdom because I didn't have the experience. So what happened was, going on the show, I always was a leader of my teams, basketball, football, whatever team I was on, I was the captain of the team. I was the leader of my crew, of my friends. So I always cared about people more than I cared about myself. I knew that because I'm a Pisces, very emotional.
Yeah. You and I both.
Overgiving. And then I realized, and it wasn't me that pushed me to my purpose. It was God. It was the universe pushed me to my purpose. When I went on TV, it put me in a position where I had to receive. I mean, I was gone for 10 weeks. I went to 6 countries.
Oh, I know.
Asking me what you want to eat, what you want to drink. The truck is going to come pick you up. It's like, oh my God, I feel like a star. Like, what? I was put in a position to think about, what do I want?
Yeah.
Everyone's asking, what do I want? How can we help you? And then you come off a show, you get all this momentum and success. You go to like studios, people paying you and flying you to come in. Oh, what do you need? What do you want to eat? And I'm like, wow. That I realized that because all the output I was putting out was coming back. Say, okay, now it's time for you to receive. You put out so much energy, it's time for you to get it back. And it like put me in a position when I had no choice but to ask for help. Hired a manager, had to get an agent, had people helping me to grow myself in business. And so then, my healer said, well, listen, Eric, you've gotten to a place of success publicly and progress equals happiness. Then it's your duty to give back the information to the people who deserve it and need it. And I don't know if you are familiar with human design. So human design is kind of like astrology and embodiment. So I'm a 3/6 martyr. So I'm the role model. So I have to literally go through everything to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And so now I'm just here giving back what I've learned so I can help the world and everyone around me evolve, heal, and transform to their higher best self. It's been great and it's been amazing. So I'm really passionate about helping people. I think having fame and being on TV and all those things is cool, but there's no real meaning in it if impacting people in an effective way, at least in my eyes.
No, I love that. I think that's important for people to hear. I think that people think that if you can, get it on TV or whatever, then that would be the end all, right? But that's not the truth.
Not what it seems, trust me.
You had to work hard, and plus you had to give of yourself and give of your heart which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest jobs we do in our lifetime, right? Is to give love and to open ourselves up to someone and be vulnerable to them. And you went all the way to number 4, right? You were like 3 guys left. And yeah, that must have been really hard. I'm so sorry that
Well,
it
it's
didn't
like,
work out, but at the same time,
it wasn't as hard as people expected because my heart was already broken before the show. Meaning because I didn't get that love I wanted from my mom. Not that she loved me.
sure.
I didn't get the love that I thought I needed or wanted.
Yeah.
So going on the show actually healed me.
I love that.
So Rachel at the time, the love she did give me and the love I did receive actually helped my life.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
hindered my life. So when I left, yes, I was disappointed. Did we have a great time? Of course. But I knew 2 weeks prior to the end that we weren't going to be together because my spirit told me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my reason being on the show wasn't to end up with the girl. It was to fall in love for the first time, to get that.
Aww.
That's why it's miracle season, because that love healed my body, life, changed my life. Because what all I was lacking was love from a woman.
Yeah.
And I got that, and all my dreams came true after that.
Aww.
That's the power of love.
Right. Are you dating now? What's your situation?
I'm dating.
Good.
It's I took a break. I was on a good 90-day fast of women, but dating is different, for me, for many reasons, but I'm into stimulation of the mind, substance, conversation, people who somewhat got it together for themselves mentally, financially, professionally, because and someone who's secure with themselves, because in a line of work or where I'm at, or, I have a lot of female followers. So if I'm dealing with a woman who's highly insecure, the best interest for me to date a person of that caliber, because my audience. But however, it's been amazing, because on this journey for me, you question people like, are you dating me because of me, or are you dating me because of who I am in a social public space?
Yeah.
But even if you don't know them from TV, if you see my social media, does that change your perception of me? And 9 times out of 10, it does. I don't care who you are. I like that. It's like, yeah, but you're a human being, and you're gonna change your perception based on what you see, what you Google, and how you come off. So I respect it, but it was one of those things I had to get accustomed to and kind of accept for what it is. And it's been cool. I've been kind of like slowly, progressing in, certain situations. But I think the most important thing is conversation. It's funny, I was talking to my dad this morning, right before this interview, that for me, the man that I am, and I want to tell women out there, and every guy is not the same, that you don't need physical intimacy to connect with a man.
Yeah.
I know it matters, but mental intimacy, emotional intimacy is valuable and very important. And I believe sex is amazing and it's great, but I don't want women to think that that's all they have to give to get a man to give them attention.
Absolutely.
So I value the mental, the conversation, the connection, all those things come, because actually building that makes the other part better.
Definitely.
It's all entwined and it's incongruent, but when you're just providing the physical aspect, that's great too. Let's not, let's be real, that's great, but how long does that last if you don't have factors in the situation? And so that's why I just want people to, that's what I look to and look forward to when I'm dating or talking to women, is like, what's in your mind? How do you feel about yourself? What do you think about life? What would you do if a tragedy happened? It's deeper than just someone's looks and body. It's like, what's in their soul and what's in their heart.
My husband and I, we had known each other as friends before we started dating. And it was through, we've been married for 12 years and together for 17. So kind of like almost lifetimes together now, and it was like talking on the phone that really changed the game, that you start to have that intimacy through conversation, through intellect, through emotional vulnerability, being sharing how your day was, or having somebody even ask, right? And it was just this strange, like, are we attracted to one another kind of thing after about, 3 or 4 months. And you'll love this. We flipped a quarter to see whether we would date or not. Heads we date, tails we don't. Universe, it's all on you.
Wow. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's been the best. And literally we make decisions, we make big decisions on that all the time because we've done it for so long that we know when we go against the answer, it's disastrous. And it really is the faith that you put into it, the intentions, the idea, all of that. So yeah, it's incredible.
And it's a beautiful relationship when you can have that connectivity with someone without being physically connected to them.
Yeah.
And honestly, for a lot of young men out there, you want to have your fun, you want to do whatever you think is important for your ego or yourself, and you will have to experience some things before you get to a level of understanding of knowing what works and what doesn't work. And you get to a point where you're still going to have your vices and you're going to be enticed in certain ways. But when you really pull the curtain back, it doesn't mean anything if you already done seen that view so many other times in different places.
Yeah.
So the same view, it just looks different because you're in a different arena. But when you know that, you can kind of like not be in a rush, but just appreciate just a woman. I think that's what I have to tell fellas and women, like let a man appreciate your presence. Like just talking to you, like feminine energy. For me, sometimes that's what I need. I just need to be around it. I don't need to have anything involved. I want to be around some women.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful. They say it's a man's world, but it's a woman's universe. And
I love that.
I literally run the world in the universe. And so that vulnerability, that softness, that is power. Because I think vulnerability is more powerful than confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a beautiful moment where you can be around a woman as a man, and not want anything from her, but just the energy and the time.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that. And I think that in doing podcasts and getting to know people all over, like you said, it wouldn't do me well to be with someone who was jealous or constantly like, oh my gosh, who are you talking to? Why are you putting makeup on to go talk to that person or something silly like that, No, he bought me all these dresses. He's the one that, he's my biggest supporter. And without that, I'm a very independent and strong woman on my own, but I also have a whole, I have a whole piece, for me, our little family is just like what made me so whole. I grew up as an only child. And so I think that searching for that connection was indefinite for me. I can remember searching way too early in my life, is this person going to be the one? Is this, and I was always just wanting that connection to be made with people. And then, and that is funny, going back to our Michael Stein conversation, I was on his show and he, said, what was the one thing, when you were little that you would want? And I said to make connections with people. And then at the end, he said, look how many connections that you make now. You don't only make connections for yourself, but for others. You change families' lives around the community and your assistance for autism and awareness and things like that. So it's so amazing to, yes, have that intention, not know how it's going to show up, and then accept it and appreciate it and just love it for what it is when it's here, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful because you get to really, when you just be present with someone, you really get to learn about life through them, with them, without even trying to.
Yeah.
I was talking to a female via DM yesterday, and we had so much in common. But, when I started to follow her, I was like, man, this girl is different, like her energy. But we just started going down a rabbit hole of like books and astrology and personality types and all these things. And I was like, oh, I love this thread. I love this conversation. She's like, yeah, I do too. But it was just like, if it was flowing. And I didn't want anything from, I was curious. We were just having a general discussion. I was like, this is what men and women need back in our lives. And just people in general. We always focus on what's not working, what's not happening, what's bad, what doesn't work. It's like, okay, what is working?
Yeah.
is positive? What is amazing about life we're living? How can we change the forecast of our minds to say, you know what? We know what's out there, but let's focus on what's good that we have in our life.
I love that.
It helps so much.
So much. I have a 15-second rule. So I don't let bad thoughts stay in my mind for longer than 15 seconds. Because I've learned that obviously they come to you. You know, what you think about is brought into action and into fruition. And just recently, I would say like in the last week or so that I heard that on something and I said, that is it. That's my new rule. No, 15 seconds, I could think about a situation that I might not have liked or that I feel ripped off or whatever, but I'm not going to repeat it. Number one, when you go repeating things to others about all these bad things that are happening to you, you're just bringing more of that to yourself to keep continuing to happen. And so I've been really trying to be like strong in my mind, you know, and just say, okay, I can give this like a couple of thoughts about it, then I have to move on. No more talking about it, thinking about it, let it go.
Yeah, and it's beautiful when you're aware of your thinking. I think that's the most important thing because people tell me things. I'm like, who's telling you that? Why do you believe that? Because it's true. I said, who? It says right here, written. I was like, well, who's giving them that information?
Yeah.
What is your body telling you? There's a body test you can do, even tapping. You know, you can tap.
Yeah.
Your hands. Like, your body doesn't lie. You know, you got to listen to what your soul in that gut is telling you. Like, oh, but this person is an expert and this person is my mom and my dad. I'm like, I hear you. But what is your soul telling you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think people ignore that because they're afraid to be rejected or they're afraid not to fit in. And I get it. I've been there. I was a people pleaser for 29 years. What I will say is, I say he or she who feels it knows it, you know, and if something doesn't feel right is a reason. It doesn't have to, that reason doesn't have to agree with everybody outside of yourself. It just has to agree with yourself, and you have to internalize that from your perspective so you can have confidence in what you know is true.
Definitely. Have you been to a kinesiologist before or done any kinesiology, which is kind of like your body answering questions for you?
Where is it at? Where's the book?
The chiropractor that I worked for, he did kinesiology. And so I was able to learn so much from him.
This is one of the books, the Vibrational Universe.
Ooh.
In Power versus Force. It talks about, they did a study, maybe it was 500 people, 250 they gave vitamin C, like packaged in envelopes. And then the other 250, they gave vitamin C, but it wasn't vitamin C.
Yeah.
It was salt or something.
Yeah.
A test on them. And basically the test came back that the people, I forgot what the results were, but they did something. I forgot how it works.
You're just like me. Here's this great idea, but I can't tell you the rest of it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of like two things in one, because then they'll have something where you'll say your name and you'll do like, I think you're touching yourself. You're doing something physically, like you said, to verify if it's true or not. And you can say your name, or you can say, oh, I'm this age, and I think it's I forgot, damn. But you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, kinesiology is like basically muscle memory and muscle testing. So you can go and like I used to be able to do it a lot faster than I can now, only because I haven't practiced in so long. But I remember doing like push-ups, and like if you can like really, you can test yourself, you know, like because you can use that force in your muscles to get answers and things silly like that. But yeah, that's incredible. Something else that first of all, you're doing fitness, you're a one-on-one coach right now, right? And you have courses. So let's totally talk about that so we can cover it. And then we're going to talk about one more thing.
Got it. Yeah. So, you know, I'm a one-on-one, mindset coach, transformation coach. I don't like to say life coach because it's kind of like general, but I believe everything's in the mind. And once you get everything in the mind to translate to the body, it can transform your life. So I have that available. I have a few books out. 100 Days of Wisdom is one of my books. Let's see if I can get it.
Now, these are your quotes.
Yeah, this is my
That's what I was going to talk about next. So that's great.
Yeah, so this is my quote book, 100 Days of Wisdom, 100 Days to Live a More Inspired Life. These are quotes that came from me when I was on my journey of self-development.
Yeah.
And I just put the words into a book because these came from videos I shot years ago, which is interesting.
Oh.
When I was in a different space, I was
Yeah.
doing videos. And then from there, I have a course that's attached to the book. You get a
Nice.
package where each day in the course, I'm talking about day one of 100 Days of Wisdom. I read the quote out loud, I break it down, interpret it, analyze it, and you get a spill of what it means, my back history on it, and then you can internalize it in your own way.
Yeah.
So that I have another book, this workbook. Sorry. Transformation, change your mindset, change your energy, change your life.
That.
Like literally a workbook.
Yeah.
28 days of reclaim your power. And so this is a transformation process. So I have those. But yeah, the one-on-one coaching is something I'm passionate about. Like it's like you and I being on Zoom right now.
Yeah.
And you have an hour to kind of like I debrief for you, give you things to do, and just we talk and we get to the root of your problems. We acknowledge it, we accept it, and I give you tools and insights to execute it and apply it. And then if you want to continue to build, I have other things in store and process for you to get, so we can develop and build rapport together. But the end goal is for people to be well, for people to heal, and for people to transform their life with the own discovery of their mind and answers that they already have within them. I'm not doing anything but giving you access to yourself by giving you the right questions, the right tools, and thoughts to think about to change your life for your benefit. So I'm just really passionate about it, and it's fun. Like this dialogue with you and I is great because I can tell you're in alignment with the frequency that I speak on things, and it makes sense.
Yeah, I love that too. I love like finding like-minded, souls out there that you can connect with in your tribe and everything. So, and like I said, I think that I've been more and more open to receiving those things, knowing that I deserve them. And that's my new take on myself, is that it doesn't matter that I'm a house mom from Utah. Like, I'm building my platform. I can have whoever I want on my show. I don't have to be fearful of them being on more of a pedestal than I am. I'm building my own pedestal up for myself is what I'm learning to do. And so I think that that's a big self-discovery also. I love your quotes. I also do a daily quote on my pages every day called Today's Mission. And I put quotes on there all the time. So we'll have to I'll friend request you after this, and we'll be able to share quotes back and forth. And
absolutely, let's do it. And absolutely. I also have, a miracle mindset guide that I give free to people to tap in with my audience and what I do, and we build rapport. Because I think a lot of times when people see us, you and I in a position, you have a podcast, we want to help, we want to give. I want people to know that what we do is real, it's authentic, but
absolutely.
I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm doing it because I really want to see people win and happy. I think the greatest pain that I've experienced on my journey is having success and being at a certain space in your life, but then not having people around who understand what that feels like.
100%.
Right? And it's like, yeah, I'm good, but he, she, her, they're not. And it's not that I gotta take myself down to kind of feed them. It's just like, I want to give this information so everybody can feel this feeling. It has nothing to do with success in life. It's being successful as a human being, as an individual for yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? It feels good. And I think people deserve to feel that energy of feel good without having money, without alcohol, without sex, without fame, just yourself. Like, I feel good. I woke up today full of gratitude, and I have things in my life that I want to change. I will, but however, I'm good. And feel that on a consistent basis, and having the tools to kind of put you in that direction throughout, your life.
Definitely. No, I completely agree. In fact, I was listening so much, I totally forgot what I was going to say, but that's the great thing about these kind of conversations, is that you listen, and then your heart hears so much more than if you're listening to respond to people, right? You just open yourselves up completely for these kinds of conversations and topics, where could people find your courses and things like that if they wanted to take more of a look at that?
Yeah, so everything is available on my links and on Instagram at Eric Bigger. Also, on my coaching page is E Bigger Speaks. You can just click the
Great.
link. You got everything from the one-on-one coaching, the miracle mindset guide, the ebook for 100 Days of Wisdom, the ebook for the transformation, physical copies for the transformation book you can get on Amazon. The physical copies for the 100 Days of Wisdom are coming out soon. And of course, they're all on that link. Click the link and we can join, and you guys can be a part of my journey. So
Love it.
and I'm into meeting new people and for people to tell their story, and because as I continue to coach, I also continue to grow and learn. Right? I say I'm always a student, never the never the master.
Yeah, I love that.
The more we learn, the more we earn. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom spins and circulates in the universe for
Definitely. And I remembered what I was going to say is that sometimes when you are on the journey of self-discovery, of self-awareness and perspective, like you said, sometimes you raise your vibration and it's not even your fault, but it becomes isolating because everyone else just isn't on that same level. And they don't even, because you don't see them coming around anymore and you don't hear from them as often, but they don't know because they're still in the same place. And that's what it is. It's you either want to move or you want to stay. And so
that's great. You isolate to elevate.
Yeah, it's true.
The elevation is great, but it's also lonely.
Yes,
to be honest.
It is so true.
Because I don't want people to think like, oh yeah, but it's like, it gets lonely because you cannot connect with someone who doesn't understand at the level of your perspective or perception. Yeah. So if I'm saying something to someone and they're offended, that has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
I also can't allow myself to continue to connect with someone of that caliber because then that affects my frequency and how I move forward. And we don't need that. And so there's a time and place where you can meet and talk to those people who are around. And some people they don't want to change, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why unconditional love is so important and having compassion.
So true.
Grace. Like, I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to live up to my aspirations for you. I just want you to whatever, because that's what I think I've done in the past with my family. Intentionally give what I think they want. Like, I don't want that.
Sacrifice yourself.
There's a quote that says, sometimes in life we go hard for the wrong things. But what I do know is direction is better than speed. So let me tell you, people out there that's busting their tail, sacrificing and working hard for your family just to make all the money so they can be happy, they probably don't even want that. They probably just want your time and your energy and they want to hug and they want to eat food with you and talk about the good times.
Yeah.
To the guys who think you got to have all the money in the world for a girl to love you. No, a real woman just wants your connection, a man who cares about her and her well-being. Money is great. Yeah, someone who listens to her. So sometimes we get caught up in our own reality of what we think life is, and which I've done. Sometimes you got to sit back and just see, like, maybe they don't really want money, they want time. And maybe in the time, they don't really want food, they just want conversation. Yeah. And maybe in conversation, they don't want, intimacy. Maybe they just want consistency, right?
Yeah.
So it's always, if we change the way we look at things, things will change. So
yeah, and you're gonna be a great husband, dad, if that's where if you're interested in ever having kids. Things you just have a really great spirit and a great aura around you, and I'm so honored and pleasure to have you here today to spend this time getting to know you more. And just it was so much fun. It feels like so much time has already, it feels like no time has passed and already been a lot of time has passed. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope we can stay in touch and check up on each other for sure.
Thank you again for the opportunity. I appreciate the spirit and your aura as well.
Thanks.
And it feels good to talk to someone that gets it.
Yeah. Well, we will definitely be in touch, and
we need more conversation and discussions like this so people can see it not only they can see it, they can feel it. And by them
Yes.
feeling it, it does something within them to change something in their world for their benefit. So,
Yep, exactly. I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so, so much. And we'll be in touch for sure.
thus, have a good one.
Thanks, Eric.